The lack of a title sequence worries me. I have a habit of talking about the most random video games you could possibly imagine just for the sake of talking about video games. But I've been leaning more towards the current mainstream of video games. You see, 2023 is starting to shape up to be one of the bigger years as far as gaming goes. While there's a ton of obvious choices I could have picked, there's one in particular that definitely caught me by surprise, and that's Armored Core. You know, for someone like me who can totally get behind for some awesome mechs, I haven't actually had much experience with mech video games. I'm familiar with a handful of well-known titles, but the best you're probably gonna get from me is the demo of... There's Titanfall 2, which is a short but sweet first-person shooter with mechs you can briefly ride in, so it kind of fits the topic. Oh, actually, I do have Xenoblade Chronicles X on Wii U because it has a cool cover art that screams awesome mech game on Wii U. And get this, I haven't played it yet. My reputation isn't looking great so far. Now, Armored Core has been one of those cult classics that I've always heard of, but never really got around to for some ludicrous reason. To be fair, I vaguely remember my dad playing it a long time ago since we used to have Armored Core 3 back in the day, before trading it in. Only reason I remember was the distinct cover art itself, and it looked pretty cool. There seems to be a trend here. It's every man's needs for satisfaction. The series also happens to be developed by FromSoftware. Ring any bell? How about now? Yes, the developers of Elden Ring and all your favorite Soulsborne genre titles were behind the entire Armored Core series long before they made a name for themselves on the original PlayStation. Honestly, this was their bread and butter if you think about it, as they made 15 games? Oh my lord. Although these types of games are very niche in comparison to the growing popularity of the Soulsborne genre for the past decade. In fact, they haven't made an Armored Core game in that time frame once they started striking gold with titles like Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And once we finally get to Elden Ring, oh my god. I was looking forward to it, but even I wasn't anticipating it to be one of the biggest video games ever, both critically and commercially, in recent years. Of course, FromSoftware has now made a name for themselves, on top of winning numerous Game of the Year awards, and with all that praise, they just had to make one final mic drop right before last year ended. You see, during the Game Awards 2022, Jeff Keighley presented one final announcement right before announcing the Game of the Year winner. And as someone who likes to overhype stuff, he's really hyping it up. And ooh. Oh. I'm sold. Say what you want about CG trailers. That teaser trailer, one of the best CG trailers I've ever seen. That's saying a lot coming from someone who normally hates CG trailers, especially when a lot of times you watch a Jeff Keighley show hyping up an entirely new game, only go, cool, but what kind of game is it? Oh. At least for the reveal of Armored Core 6, it hits all the right notes in the best way possible. All of FromSoftware's CG trailers are very representative of the art direction and tone they're going for, while still getting the general idea of what they usually make. At the very least, Armored Core is an existing dormant franchise. Everyone knows who FromSoftware is now. At least I know what kind of game Armored Core is, and with the bleak art style and tone, oh man, I really hope it comes out this year. You know what that means. I gotta try at least one of their games in the franchise. So, I go on popular shopping websites like eBay, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I legitimately could not find a single copy of any of their games online back in December. I could find Japanese copies of their games, but no English copies. Instead, I took my chance to go to one of my local retro game stores, and boom, they had 2 copies of Armored Core 2 for $15. After picking up my own copy, that early investment paid off very well. I know I should be playing with my ever-growing pile of backlogs, but you know what? I got nothing better to do at the moment. Let's see what Armored Core is all about. This looks badass. Now the game itself. Looks like we just have to do a little small tutorial opening.
Should you succeed, you will be registered as a Raven in the arena. If you fail, you die.
Cool, fight enemies, don't die.
Here they are. Time to see what you learned on Earth.
Did I learn anything on Earth beforehand?
Right along the road.
Yeah, I can see how this would immediately turn off a lot of people. These controls can be a little funky when you have no clue how to play in the first place. See, that's why we used to get video game manuals so you can learn everything about the game and, at the very least, find out what the controls are. Let's see here, we have a map and menu screen controls, basic UI stuff. Holy shit, this game literally doesn't tell you how to play. Might as well make a quick guide for this game. Here's the actual controls for the game. You obviously have 10 controls with the D-pad, up and down to move forward or backwards, left and right to rotate. L1 and R1 is strafing either left or right. Square and circle uses your equipped weapon on either arm. Cross is both your jump and booster button, which took me a while to figure out. When you move, you hold the cross button to start boosting, but if you stand still, you physically jump and press the button again to start flying around. Like I said, the controls can be a little funky, but given the type of game it is, I honestly really like the gameplay. It feels very mechanical, as if you were operating a giant mech simulator. Although, to be fair, they never actually utilized the analog sticks in any capacity until future titles in the series. Yeah, that was odd. In fact, it makes me wish I had some kind of dual flight stick controller to really get down and dirty with it, like the Steel Battalion controller. Now, once you manage to figure out how to play and get through the first part, you then get to the actual gameplay loop. Menu screens. You can either go to the arena and battle ranking mechs one by one and be rewarded with small income of credits, or tackle challenging missions for a huge income of credits at the expense of paying off damage fee and ammunition. All the credits you earn can be used in the shop to buy new parts and upgrade your mech. The catalog of parts you can equip is absolutely insane. When you take the time to understand the RPG-like stats, there's a lot to be taken into consideration, like how heavy it is. Will it have great mobility with low defense or high defense at the cost of being slower? New boosters to not only go faster but can be used more often, shoulder extensions to cycle between rifle and missiles, a variety of legs to either be a fast runner or a hovering tank, how much energy or ammo does the weapon use, and how effective they are. Think about the best aspects of playing Elden Ring on how you can truly customize your character to suit your playstyle. Seeing FromSoftware's DNA baked into this game is what really hooked me in after spending the time to learn everything about it. When you buy a new part to build your mech with, it may not seem like you did much, but it's so satisfying. Plus, once you really get into the gameplay flow, what starts off as a slow mech game turns into a high-speed action shooter that requires mobility skills and effective loadouts. Now, the real challenge comes from trying to earn enough credits in the first place so you can buy new parts. A lot of the ones you want to go for are expensive, which can definitely be a grind, and if you're not good at beating some of the missions, you're not going to make much progress with this game. Obviously, this game is not for everyone. In fact, a lot of mech games are pretty niche in general. But when it comes to my personal experience with Armored Core 2, this has to be the most quintessential mech game I've ever played. Despite how massive this franchise is, spanning across the first 3 generations of PlayStation, I'm surprised with how I never got around to playing any of them back then.
Then again, I was a toddler when those games were coming out, and I was too busy playing mascot platformers. Just leave me be, alright? Armored Core 4 is also one of the more significant titles in the series, for being Hidetaka Miyazaki's directional debut before developing Demon Souls.
Regardless, the more I play Armored Core, the more I'm anticipating the 6th mainline entry in the series, which really got my mind racing. It's been explicitly stated that it will not be another Soulsborne game and be going back to its traditional roots. This is good, as it's FromSoftware's chance to branch out to different types of games instead of solely being known as the Dark Souls studio. Plus, if this ends up being successful, they've got another big IP on their hand to build upon. They already have everything they need to make a new Armored Core. However, what Armored Core 6 really needs is worldwide appeal.
Personally, I want Armored Core 6 to be the Monster Hunter world of all mech games. A modern title of an existing niche franchise with wider accessibility and quality of life improvements, while still retaining the core identity of the franchise. Monster Hunter went from a clunky PS2 game to one of Capcom's best-selling video games ever. If Armored Core can reach that level of ambition, this could be a game changer. If not, well, at least we get another Armored Core game to try out for the first time in a decade with all of our friends. Oh, wait, I completely forgot. Armored Core has split-screen multiplayer. It's nothing too special with Armored Core 2 specifically, but you can carry your save data into the multiplayer arena and battle it off with your friends. I'm pretty sure modern online gaming for Armored Core 6 should be awesome.
Boom. I talked about a game as an excuse to talk about my most anticipated game of 2023. I'm getting the groove back.